Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tracy with TR's Tarot Talk 1111. I am here to give the channeled reading, channeled from Spirit. I had a complete download while doing a private reading, and then I tossed cards for this channeled reading and got the same, almost the identical cards. There's a few differences here, but the energy around it is very strong. So I asked Spirit, what is the energy around this? I don't know if it's a portal or a gateway or just a shift, energetic shift. But these set of 3 eclipses, it's like a 0.0 reset. I'm not an astrologer, but that's what Spirit is showing me. So I would be curious to know where in the planets there's a 0.0 reset, because that's what I'm feeling. I'm clearly being shown a blank slate. And so as humans, we are creator beings from a creator race with creative abilities. And our creative abilities is to manifest what it is we focus on. Our focused attention is our magic. It's our gift. It's how we create. It's how the law of attraction was made perfectly for us, to support us, to love us, to nurture us, to make sure all of our needs are met. And so there have been some clever consciousnesses that have figured out how to hijack our creative abilities and use them against us to create what they wanted instead of what we wanted. And so there are planetary it's a changing of the guard, is the way Spirit's telling me. And this is the changing of the guard, right? So the age of Pisces had its own reign. It had its own belief systems. It had its own kingdom. It had its own everything. I mean, it was the kingdom of Pisces, and it was designed by Pisces for Pisces, and everything in it was the creation of the archetype or the vibration of Pisces. You know, Christ embodied, fisher of men, the fish god, whatever you want to call it, right? So we are having a change of the guard. And the old hierarchy, just think of it like President Trump dies and his vice president, Mike Pence, I think his name is, inherits the kingdom, so to speak, right? And then everything gets to go under his administration and his registration and his rules and his desires and his creation. And so it's a hierarchy, and there are many of them. It's not just governments, you know, there's hierarchies within families, within friends, within jobs, within experiences, period. We all have hierarchies, you know. Where are you on the energetic hierarchy? And so you get to choose. But because of the programming that you've inherited through eons of led belief systems, choreographed belief systems, we kind of lost our power. We forgot that we were the creators of our own experience, and that we are the original creators from the original creator. And so that means that we have a sovereign right to create for ourselves and not for any hierarchies. So this is what is being taught to the forerunners. Now, not everybody is called to this. So if you feel like you're being called to be an activist or a pro-activist, or maybe it's your life's mission to expose lies, right? Or it's your life's mission to find lost children, or whatever your life's mission is, that is your calling. That is what you came here to be, to experience, to have Okay? Not because you don't deserve to have something much better, but because you chose it. You willingly wrote your name on a contract and said, this is the experience that I chose to have. Okay, but there are some of us who are what Spirit is describing to me as trailblazers, path leaders. Leaders. Let's just boil it down to leaders. Not a hierarchy, not we're better. And the analogy I gave the girl that I gave a reading to was and yes, I'm sorry, somebody didn't like me looking out the window, but my screen's broken, so I apologize. But I can't see you, so I just gaze out my window. There's a beautiful tree with lots of birds and animals. But I just was shown that this is not a hierarchy. Like a hierarchy is an old belief system. It's from the age of Pisces. It belongs in Pisces kingdom. It doesn't belong in the Aquarius kingdom. The Aquarius kingdom has 2020 vision and is creating new and is wanting better. We're looking at the way the old king ran the show, right? The old archetype, the way it ran the show. And there are those, and we know it, you know it, everybody knows, there are those that choose that paradigm, that rule, and they're going to stay there because they're comfortable there. They understand that religion. They understand that belief system. They understand their limitations, which is exactly what it is it's a limitation to what they're able to experience, but they'll choose it. And the reason why they choose it is because they believe that it's more comfortable, that they're going to like it better. Better to dance with the devil you know than the devil you don't know, right? But the thing about energy is energy expands through raising its frequency. So when you raise your frequency, you can't experience anything lower in vibration than the new vibration you're in the now moment. So if you've raised your vibration, you've raised your potential for having something better, no matter what it is. Maybe you're moving from a mobile home into whatever your dream is. Could be a bus that you can travel the world in. That would be maybe your level up. It's what you figure you're worthy of and you want to have, and it's an experience you're willing to sign up for, right? But what we're learning through this energetic portal is that there are some tower moments that are going to happen because you've grown. You've grown. You didn't mean to, maybe. Some of you didn't even, feel like you chose to, but your higher self signed up for this. You came here for this, for a reason. And so I'm kind of speaking to everybody because everybody's going to glow, everybody's going to grow, everybody's going to experience something slightly better than what they had. But the only limitation on that experience is what you believe you're worthy of. And a lot of us are telling ourselves that, I would be blessed and grateful to go from a mobile home in a trailer park for me, it would be a bus. I would love to own a tour bus and just tour the United States and teach people and raise the vibration in every city that I go to. And that would be a dream for me that I'm holding on to and creating, just possibly creating for myself. So, that's what this whole channeling is about, is what do you feel worthy of, and is a bus big enough? Maybe you want a mansion, some people do. I really don't. Not because I'm not worthy of it, not because hierarchically I could never afford it, it could never come to me, because I'm slowly learning, that I am a creator being, and I create with my focused attention. So if I was focusing my attention on living in $1 billion mansion, and I imagined, what it would look like and how I would live in it and the things that I would do in it and the experiences I would have and feel the joy and bliss of creating it in my mind and striving toward it and making goals and leaps and bounds toward it, that's how you create. And no, I'm not really interested. Not really interested. I mean, I remember being a little kid in church and my grandma would tell me, not just my grandma, anybody that was with me would tell me, The goal, the end goal to all this pain, all this suffering is you get to die and go to heaven, and you get to sit next to the river of peace and equality and love, and listen to cherubs sing and choirs, and bask in the light. And maybe that's a beautiful vision to hold. But as a little kid, I thought, how boring. I'm sorry, that sounds almost scandalous to say, but as a little kid, that was my thought. I thought, how boring. 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 I don't want to walk down streets of gold. I could care less if the streets have gold or iron or grass or hay. I really don't care, And gates with jewels, big deal. Who cares? Jewels. Yeah, that's nice. They're pretty. But as a kid, I wasn't materialistic. I didn't have any attachment at all to those concepts, those belief systems, those structures. Those were taught to us as children. And so this is a portal for us to just kind of figure that out. And not everybody's going to, because not everybody is meant to. So if you're listening to this and you get it, you just get it, it just clicks for you. You're like, yeah, I'm glowing. I'm glowing. And I can have better. I can create better. When you're faced with red flags like, ooh, should I do that? And then, no. Because why? Because we are finding our inner source again. We're trusting ourselves. Do you know how hard it is to trust yourself? It's easy to trust Jesus. It's easy to trust God. It's easy to trust your pastor. It's easy to trust the teachers and the police officers. But what we're learning in this time, in these energies, is that what you see isn't always what you get, right? And it's because we've been dreaming it wrong. There's been a hiccup in our manifestation because somebody came in, something came in, another energy. I'll just call it another energy because I don't know what it is. Could be aliens, maybe, if you want to believe that, where you focus your attention, it exists. Maybe it's artificial intelligence. Hell, maybe it's just the laws of the universe that are set up to work for us, but work against us when we constantly expect that to happen. And so I was a big conspiracy theorist because I thought that I was advocating. I thought that I was part of the awakening of mankind, right? To the deep, dark state and all the things that are going on in the nation. Those are very real. And those are timelines, those are creations, those are energetic alignments that people are energetically aligned to, that are experiencing. And I was there, and it was profoundly pivotal in my awakening process. Because once you start questioning, you start expanding your thinking. And when you start expanding your thinking, you start expanding your knowing. And when you start expanding your knowing, you start expanding your experience, your having. And so Spirit has been trying to channel to us the tools that we need to create this new earth, this new experience, this new vibration. And if we're going to do it, we're going to have to do it collectively. Every light, when it touches another light, becomes a much brighter light. And not equal either. Two, like one light and one light put together makes, two lights together. No, they blaze into one bigger expanded light. There's more energy being burned. There's more expansion happening. There's hotter temperatures engaged. It is universal energy, which is everything that is, everything that was, and everything that ever shall be. It is creation with focused attention and intention, co-creating together constantly in survival mode to survive every phase of growth that we go through. But there are some of us, and everybody experiences that. I mean, in every way, shape, and form. Your body experiences it. You're different when you're 4 months old than you were when you were 3 months old. Hell, you're different when you're 3 months and 1 day old than you were at 3 months old. And it's like we are energy, we are vibration, and we are continually having experiences that lead to belief systems that navigate us toward what we are creating, whether we know it or not. And so we've been creating for a long time things that we didn't know we were creating. And so for some of us as the way showers, it's not a hierarchy. I'm not better or worse than anybody else. And there's a fly around. There's our confirmation, right? Spirit showing up. Because it's not a hierarchy. I'm not any better than a fly. A fly is just, it's like you don't begrudge a 3-month-old baby for not being able to do what a 3-year-old baby can do. And the 3-year-old isn't any better than the 3-month-old. It's just had more experiences. So it's grown more. It has more light. It has more energy, more fire, more vibrance, because it's just collected more positive energy on its growth, because it's just natural. It's just the nature of existence, of creation. So that's where the way showers come in, is we are finding that balance, that unity consciousness. We are the bridge. We're the rainbow bridge, the rainbow tribe, right? We are the ones that are bridging the gap between what we don't believe we can achieve to that which we have already achieved, and showing it's the blank slate. It's showing us energetically that by choosing to focus our attention on what we crave, not even crave, because that's lack mentality, but like just focus on what do you love, and just experience it in your heart and see it and know that it's coming, and it's just this blissful state. And so you can't be in that state all the time, not in the energy that you're coming from. You just can't. So you need a bridge, right? You need steps. You need little growth spurts. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's how I've been learning. That's how Spirit has awakened me when he awakened me to my twin flame journey. Everything, came in steps. And I wish I would have journaled. I was told by Spirit to journal, and I chose not to. So, that's a lower timeline that I settled for when I could have expanded into something much larger. God only knows what would have happened to that journal if I'd have done it. So, we get to choose. We get to choose. How big do we want to grow? How big do we want to dream? How much can we have? And there are those that are going to be on step 10 and those who are step 1. And it's not because they didn't study the exam and they're not smart enough to get to step 10. They just have never experienced the energies of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And therefore 10 is just too far off grid. They wouldn't know how to create it because they've never experienced it. And how we create is with focused attention, with intention, and expectation. Like you got to feel what it would feel like to have it. Well, you can't feel like what it would feel like to have something you've never had before. So we had to have waves, 3 of them that I know of volunteers come back to descend, to dim their light to fit in here so that they could build the light back up and be that bridge, right? Be that step number 2, that step number 3, that step number 4, and to just bring that shit right up to where the higher beings, the ones not better, just more experienced. We get to come back and be the teachers and the way showers and the pathfinders, trailblazers. We go, it's like if you've got a great big field out in your backyard that you haven't maintained, and there's little trees, with trunks this big around, and there's debris and there's stuff and animals living in it, and really all you want to do is just pay somebody to come in and brush hog it down, right? This is the brush hog, period. Okay, so you guys have a desire outcome. You don't like the world the way it's been built. You don't like the hierarchies. You don't like the divine, or not divine, the distorted masculine energy of patriarchal rule, right? We helped create that, guys. You got to own that. We helped that. Mostly our ancestors, but because it's ancestral patterning, we participated, right? If your mom taught you, how to tie your shoe with two bunny ears versus one bunny ear and a wrap, and then the second bunny ear. If you don't get what I mean, I'm sorry. That's just the vision spirit brought to me. But it's no big deal. You get the same outcome, just two different ways to get there. So there's no karma earned in that, right? When a parent parents you and just teaches you a different way of doing things, there's no karma in that. But there is karma if you, teach your child that they're stupid because they should know how to tie their shoe both ways, or you pass some kind of a judgment on them, and then they own it, and then they teach their kids that way, and their kids teach their kids. That's kind of like when you earn karma, is when you aren't awake enough or high vibrational enough to recognize the look on your baby's face when you call them stupid. Then the ancestral patterning won out over your higher consciousness. And that's not a judgment, because we were conditioned. We have been hijacked. It's like somebody plugged their program into our port and took over our computer, and just our whole operating system. They just hijacked it, took it over, and made it into what they wanted. But they couldn't do it without us somehow helping and agreeing to it. So we are coming up for a change of the guard. And we get to choose. Do we want to stay in the hierarchy that our ancestors built? Or are we going to be part of the ones that take that step too? And experience it to its fullest until we just understand it. We internalize it. We know. We know something a little more than we knew yesterday. And then we take that step number 3. That's why they call him the seeker, right? That's the fool. He's just seeking. He has a blank slate. He doesn't know where he's going, doesn't know how he's going to live or sustain himself. He packs very lightly, takes a companion with him. But the companion is his limiting belief systems. It's trying to hold him back. The dog's always nipping at his heels, warning him of the peril. And he's just clueless because he's not less than, he's just not experienced. So a king versus the fool. A king has been there, has done that, has bought the t-shirt, right? Been there, done that, knows it all, experienced every single bit of falling off of those cliffs time and time and time again. And every time he learned a little bit more about the perilous cliff, and his mountains got a little smaller until he became kind of a master of it all, right? Well, then if you have trauma, because that's a natural cycle, that is a natural cycle. To go from the fool to the king is a natural cycle. To go through all the major arcana is a natural cycle. However, when we are leveling up, when we are doing the changing of the guard, when we're going from a whole different king, a whole different ruler, a whole different set of beliefs, a whole rules, your rules say I can't do this and can't do that, I got that song, do this, don't do that, can't you read the signs? Signs everywhere, a sign. Yeah, it's just spirit's really channeling to me, guys. Sorry, but it's just like that. It's like everything we have been living and believing has been a hierarchy, that we could not possibly grow from the 3-day-old baby to the 3-year-old baby unless somehow, some way, we deserved it. And then they spoon feed us all of these belief systems that tell us we don't. Like, you're a sinner. That was my big one. I don't know what religion you had as your paradigm, but mine was Christianity, Methodist and Presbyterian. And so, I was taught that there was a duality to the teachings that were taught to me. I was taught that God was love and everything was love and love, love, love. That was the teachings of Jesus. But then they go into those Old Testaments and start teaching about the wrath of God. And then start teaching you that God is some person that decided to sacrifice everything. It's everything it ever created in order to create something bigger and better. And it's like plowing the field. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And so it's all symbology. It's not real. We were taught that it's real, that there's a man up in the clouds that's judging us and finding us worthy or unworthy, dependent upon our actions, right? And so we are given this opportunity to glow, to start with a blank slate and dream big. Dream big. Don't be like, oh, every day I count my blessings. I'm so grateful that I'm breathing. Yes, absolutely. That is a fantabulous energy. You wake up and you say, thank you. I am so grateful that I am breathing, that I am here, that I am existing. There's two different energies there. The first person was grateful that they were still breathing because somehow they believed they weren't really worthy of it. It's like, yeah, I'm grateful I've got one more day because I've got this wrong with me and that wrong with me and this against me and these belief systems oppressing me and those belief systems oppressing me. See, there's an energy there. It's all about experience. Yes, it is, but not during these portals. These gateways are an opportunity for you to create without limitation. If you can conquer your fear around not being worthy of it, It's like when you go buy a lottery ticket and you think, oh my God, it would be such a blessing to win that $3 million. And then you've got, but, what would I do with it? How would I manage it? Would it change my life? Do I want it to change my life? What would it be like to be a billionaire? See, it's just an energy, guys. There are people who want to be a billionaire because they don't feel happy. They just don't feel it. They don't feel happy. They don't feel worthy. They don't feel chosen. They don't feel good. They just feel like that kind of shit happens to other people, And those people, sometimes spirit will let them manifest billions of dollars as a lesson, because not a lesson about worthiness or hierarchy, but a lesson about believing that you are just like everything else. You have just as much potential, just as much worthiness, just as long as you're not causing harm to anybody else. Why wouldn't you be worthy of $1 billion? But see, if they're not in the vibration of gratitude for the experience, not the experience to cancel out a different experience. It's trading, right? Trading one bad experience for something that seems good on the outside, but if you don't vibrationally match it, you will gamble it away, you will invest it wrong, you will overspend, you will just fuck it up really bad if you're not in vibrational alignment with being worthy of it. So anybody can win the lottery, but not anybody can win the lottery, right? It's not a win. A win implies that you're better than, or more deserving of, or luckier than, or somehow blessed more. No. If you can drop the win out of that energy and just think, you know what? I'm here to live my life to the fullest. And if I need $1 billion, I'm sure that the universe will bring it to me. If I don't need it, I will always have everything I need and plenty to share. And that's just the way I believe. And when you start believing that way, that's what you start achieving. And it takes steps. Okay, so go back and watch my channeled messages. I believe that we have been, without even knowing, because really didn't have a conscious awareness of it. But somehow, some way, Spirit has been channeling to me each month steps to get from 1 to 10. And for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, you'll get it. And if you get it and you start applying it for the collective, not just for you, but that's your mission work, right? Is to teach it to others, to empower, give everybody their power back. You know, just give them back their power. Let them know that the sin of some man and woman that existed at the beginning of time is not our inheritance. It became our inheritance when we began telling the story and choosing to be the victims of our story. If we were to rewrite that, because time is not real in history, no history. You see, you can't take experience away. It's like teaching a child how to walk after crawling. Unless they're maimed or harmed in some way, they will never choose crawling over walking again without some trauma. So if you're still crawling when you should have been walking or perhaps running or jumping or flying, this is a clean slate. This is an opportunity for you to learn how to get up. And not because you're better than or worse than or lower than or victimized by or judged by or found guilty or found unworthy or whatever. Just let it go. Let it go. Do the steps. Go back and watch them. Go back 6 months. Just look for the titles that say channeled message. Spirit channeled message. I don't know how long I've been doing it. Maybe 4 or 5 months. But I'm going to go back and rewatch them because I have a feeling that if I put them on paper in a way that people can understand, because I get pretty out there when I'm channeling, I think we might have the key to effortless manifestation. But you have to be in a vibrational alignment to it. And you can't get there from here without a bridge. You just can't. And so the bridge is teaching the baby to walk. And then once the baby learns to walk, or actually it goes from pulling themselves up, right? Just standing, then walking, holding on to something, then walking, not holding on to something, right? Then running, then hopping and cartwheeling, and just the body's capable at that age of very miraculous things, right? You get to know that as you experience the hierarchy. Wisdom has its own price, I guess, in the human experience. But so I want to show you guys these cards because I've been channeling for how long now? I can't even read it. A while. And when I channel that deeply, I get a little woo-woo. So I'm going to pull you down and show you these cards because this is energy, guys. Now, if you don't read cards, then don't worry. You don't have to watch this part. But this is how I got the message that I got. And maybe you would be interested. Okay, I don't know if you can see all the cards, but I'll show them to you. So when I tossed it, and these are almost identical. A nice woman hired me to give her a private reading. And no, I'm not sharing her reading with you guys, but it was very similar. And that's why I felt called to do the channeled message, because I was channeling for her, and I wanted to channel for the collective. So we have the Two of Swords with the King of Swords, with the Two of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. Then when I clarified, I got the Ace of Pentacles, clarifying the Two of Swords, the Four of Swords in reverse, which I don't read reversals, so how it came out in the reverse was a little amazing. I left it that way because I saw the energy. Okay, then, so that was clear. The Four of Swords was clarifying the King of Swords. Okay, then we have the Two of Cups, clarified by the Six of Swords in reverse. And then we have the King of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And then it loops, to me, energetically, it loops back around, because the bottom of the deck was the Ace of Cups sideways, which was kind of intentionally unintentional. I don't know how to say that. I just chose to put the cards down sideways to fit on the table better. But as I was reading the energies, it was perfect that this cup was on its side. Because with the Two of Swords, a choice needs to be made by the way showers, the collective, everybody, but especially the light workers. Because it's not a hierarchy, it's an experiential thing. So it just follows suit that the older and more experienced the soul, the more experience and wisdom it holds, right? The more light it holds. So these are the patterns, is what Spirit was showing me, that we go through cycles. And it's cycles within cycles, right? All of creation has cycles. The cosmos has the galaxies, and the galaxies have the planets, and the planets, have the occupants, and the occupants have the offspring. And it just, cycles within cycles within cycles of creation, because that's what creation does, is it procreates. Okay, so in hierarchy, there are those that are held down in the Four of Swords in reverse, the Six of Swords in reverse, and the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, it's like, it's a choice, it's a mirror. Two of Swords to the Ace of Pentacles, versus the other end. If this was a cycle, right? Cycles don't end and begin. They don't have a beginning and an end. They're like a loop. So the two becomes, these are mirror images of this cycle vibrationally. So the choice is Five of Pentacles versus the Ace of Pentacles, right? Do you want to be, what do you believe you deserve? Are you the King of Pentacles with the Ace of Pentacles, or are you the Five of Pentacles with the Ace of Pentacles? Because right now, the whole freaking lot of everything, from the cosmos down to the micros, all the way down to the atoms and the vibration itself. Everything is having a change of the guard. We are going into a new hierarchy, which we get to create through experience instead of worthiness. So you must have the experiences to inherit the kingdom. But there's a fast track. There's a fast track that you've been denied. And one of those, one of the keys to creating this heaven on earth is knowing that you are the creator, part of the whole. You aren't all of it, but your light, it's like taking droplets of gasoline and putting them together into an automobile to get the automobile from Connecticut to Florida. And because there's a purpose and intent, right? That's how we create, is with our focused attention and intention. What are we intending to create? And so you need those droplets as much as you need the engine or the gas tank or the tires or the spark plugs. Everything is a perfect symbiotic relation, vibration to bridge all gaps. And in the past, you would have, just like a child, you would go from a size 1 to a size 2 to a size 3 and sometimes if you had a big growth spurt, you'd go from a size 3 to a size 6, 7, right? My kids did that. I mean, my tallest child is almost 5'4". I think he's 5'4", 6'4". He's like 6'3" maybe. But he's big. And so there were times when he had growth spurts that surpassed an average step. So I believe we're leaving the age of Pisces and expanding into a much larger growth spurt than normal. And you get to choose your cycle. And this Five of Pentacles can be in the upright or the reverse, all depending on the vibration you choose. Do you want to choose the Five of Pentacles in reverse? Because see, if you're looking at it as a mirror, which I can't show you with a laptop, but literally what I was seeing was the King of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles pointing downward, where if they were mirrored, they're really both in the upright, right? So you get to choose. Do you want the king to be in the upright? You know, like if it was on a swing and you could choose, you know, I'm playing a game. I get to choose, do I want the King of Pentacles or do I want the Five of Pentacles energetically, right? And the choice here with the Two of Cups, with the Six of Swords in reverse, do you want to stay stuck, lonely, unhappy, unloved, unworthy, unchosen, unworthy? Or do you want to choose to take the lessons that you've learned and move into a more balanced state? So if you're playing the game, what do you want to choose? You know, you can choose I think the duality in this card, this lineup, is the King of Swords versus the Four of Swords in reverse, right? So you get to choose. Do you want to be stubborn? Because I think of the King of Swords as very intelligent, almost to the point where they know more than they've experienced. And that's good. If you're playing that kind of game, then you're the winner. If you just know more than you've experienced. Or you can choose the Four of Swords, where you have more healing, more contemplation, more guidance. Because see, the Four of Swords for me is a person who is praying after a battle that they probably won or at least survived. I mean, I don't know who the winners were. The Three Swords hung above him I look at as lessons. You know, they could be many different lessons on all different vibrations. It could be wins, right? These are 3 wins I've had hanging up here on my wall. And now there's my 4th, and I just had another win, and I'm being grateful for it. Or these could be kills. I've killed 3 people or 3 relationships or 3 situations. They're failures, right? I did this, and this was not good. And so you're adding one more to it. That's a vibration. So which vibration? It's not either or. The real energy of the Four of Swords is not I was a winner or I was a loser. The energy was I am grateful to still be in the game, to still be alive, to have one more day of experiences, one more day of battles, one more day of peace, whichever I choose, but I get one more day. But see, the King of Swords energy is I don't have to have every little experience in order to know. Because when you get in unified consciousness, everything in the Akashic record is available to you. You will trust your inner knowing, because God is not on a cloud up in the sky somewhere judging you. God is in your heart. It's you. It's the essence of you. It is your light. It is your light, your soul. That is the God within. And so the King of Swords doesn't have to battle anymore. Right? He doesn't have to battle anymore. He's a victor. And he doesn't have to have all the battles to have the wisdom of the king. So then the Two of Swords with the Ace of Pentacles. You know, you get to choose this cycle. I think this is just an overall energy choice, right? And how do we choose? Bottom of the deck is this Ace of Cups. You get to choose your own value. So if I was the universe and I presented you with a wish, and you could make it anything you wanted, there will be those who wish for one more day. And there will be those who wish for eternity. And there will be those who wish for a car, or a truck, or a camper, or a bus, or whatever you vibrationally believe you are worthy of. And it's not just about worthiness, it's about desire. What do you desire? What is your deepest desire? So if the universe is giving you a clean slate and saying you are the creator of your reality, what will you create? And what will you settle for? And will you believe that you are God in a body and that you can have anything? It really truly is a blank slate. You can create whatever you want that you're in vibrational alignment with. And if your answer anywhere inside of your energetic field feels like, no, I'm not ready for that kind of power, then that's why you need the steps. And there's no judgment, because the steps are all here. It's like, I choose my new beginning. I choose my battles. I choose what I stay for and what I leave behind. I choose my own value, what I believe I'm worth. And then I experience a growth spurt going from the Five of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles to the Two of Cups. I'm not just vibrationally in alignment with abundance on all levels, but that opens up abundance in creation, co-creating with the universe. When this Two of Cups, this is a shared cup. This is, we create this together, right? Not separate, together. And then you know what you know, and nobody can convince you any other than what you know, because you know it. Possibly because of all the steps you just went through and got to. And then, in a perfect reading, there would be the major arcana played out, right? We would be at the world now, at the loop, at the beginning, the caduceus, the snake swallowing its tail. There is no beginning, there is no end. This was just a short little toss that I did, but it was such a big message. So you get to choose. It's a blank slate, and you can trust it, and you can create it, and you can have faith in it, and you can clear out your childhood traumas around why you shouldn't deserve it, or why it's blasphemous to want it, why it's horrible. And anything you create that doesn't do any harm to anybody else or any other creature is karma free. So you can't say, well, I want to frack. I want to be the owner of a business that does fracking because I want to experience the high lifestyle. Yes, you can create that. You absolutely can. But there's consequences for using somebody else's creation to usurp in order to expand yours. Do you see what I'm saying? It's all energy. It's like, when you bring your light willingly to somebody else's light, you share that light together. You create something different. You're no longer two separate lights. You are one flame. That's the twin flames, right? But that plays out in everybody, not just those who are awakened to the twin flame journey. We all have divine masculine, divine feminine energy within us. And if we could balance that, we could literally heal our self-limiting beliefs and start creating without all the steps. That's effortless creation. That's just knowing that it's okay to have it because it's not harming anybody else, and you desire it, and you're going to focus your attention and intention on it. Nobody can convince you you're not worthy of it, and nobody can stop you as you climb the mountain to the very top. And some of us won't climb the mountain. We will create a machine to fly us to the top. And so this is the energy around the changing of the guard, is everybody, every creation, everything in the entire creative source is having a growth spurt. And because it's the changing of the guard, we get to choose how to govern if we choose to be governed. And we can choose who governs us if we choose to be governed. And we can choose not to be governed if there are enough consciousnesses to create it, that 100th monkey. It will be a timeline that exists. Not everybody will experience it. Not everybody will be able to be on it. But those who desire it and help create it are going to be there. And I'm going to leave this reading here because my spirit guides are telling me this truly is a message for those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, because it's happening for you and to you and for you. And you get to choose the energy. You get to choose. If you're the victim of it or if you are the master of it is your choice. And so it's time. It's time. Everybody gets a growth spurt, whether you go from wearing an old pair of worn out Walmart shoes to a brand new pair of Nike high tops. Whatever your idea of worthiness, whatever your station in life is being bettered, everybody, because you can't have a growth spurt without becoming bigger and more knowledgeable and wiser. And so everybody's getting a growth spurt. Everybody gets to grow. But those with eyes to see and ears to hear are going to create something to fly them to the top of that mountain so that they can be a trailblazer for those who will follow. And so look for a lot of new innovators, a lot of new creations, a lot of new technology, a lot of new ways of doing old things better. Not lazier like the hierarchy. That's distorted masculine. That's lazier. Doing more. Having other people do it for you is what Spirit's telling me. Making other people work for you so you can have what you... That's the hierarchy. No judgment. You've been taught that. It's just the way this realm, the Pisces rule was, is it was a hierarchy. And so we're going to have a new rule and we get to choose. And everybody's going to choose different. So there are some people that will choose some really low vibrational alignments, like the Hunger Game type shit. And they will experience that, and they will have every right to experience that if that's what they choose to experience. But there will be the way showers in that experience that will be helping people to choose better if they choose to. Does that make sense? There's no hierarchy. There are helpers in every realm. There are people, souls that are older in every realm that are teachers and gurus and help, that's their soul mission. So what is your soul's mission? What are you being called to accomplish? Maybe you are supposed to be in that reality. Maybe you are one of the gap bridgers. Is that right? Yeah. Just trust. What do you feel on a very deep subconscious level? What do you feel capable of? What do you think you can handle? And are you ready to stretch beyond your comfort zone? Are you ready to experience something you've never experienced before? Knowing, because you got to have that knowing, that it's better. It's got to be better. It's not like you're going to create something worse. You can't. You've learned to walk. You're not going to go back to crawling. You won't do it. You already know what you don't want to experience. You've experienced it long enough. That's why the cycle is over. The experience for most of us is done. We're done. We know what doesn't work, and we're not accepting it anymore. And so you're going to have mission work somewhere along the way where you choose to help bridge the gap. And so choosing is the fun part. You need to go within and do as much healing around your ego and your belief systems as you can so that you can choose to know that it's a blank check that's meant to better your life as better as you can dream it, not as better as you limited it in your mind, right? No limitations. Like, no, like I can do anything. And I can do it from here or I can do it from over there. It doesn't mean I have to move. It doesn't mean I have to change residence. It just means that if I choose at this moment to go to Florida, I'm going to pick up my phone, I'm going to purchase the ticket, and every need that I have to get me from here to there is mine because I believe that I can align with it. Then it's going to be a manifestation that comes quicker than it's ever come before in your life. Okay? And so if you can grasp that, if you can implement that, if you can even just do it, the steps, everybody's going to get there. Everybody's going to get there. And you'll get there by learning from the person that went there just before you did. And then you will teach the person behind you in line how to get there just like you did. And then once in a while, there's going to be some line cutters, right? There's going to be somebody comes in from left field and says, guys, you're wasting your time standing in line. Look what I created. We can all get on this bus and just boom, think it, and we're there. And so there will be those that are ready for that energy, and they will be like Lazarus, not Lazarus. See, I've been far enough away from the Bible teachings that I'm forgetting the names. But the chariot, right, that came and got the guy, he didn't die, he just left. What was his name? Ezekiel? What was his name, Spirit? Anyhow, there will be those that are very steeped in their Christian beliefs that will watch this and understand what I'm talking about. That's the Merkaba, that's the energy, that's what you create. You create the ability to just think it, and it appears only if it's of pure heart and pure thought and just God consciousness. Can't harm anything or anybody. It just doesn't know how. The love is too deep to harm any part of the whole. And so buckle up, Buttercup. We are all getting a growth spurt, and I am so anxious to see what it looks like. And how will we create it? And I need to work on mine. I'm here to tell you I need to work on mine because I'm not real happy with what I've been creating so far. And so I'm going to change it. And I hope you guys got the message. And we will be starting the zodiac readings as soon as humanly possible. I'd like to get them all up in a timely fashion this time. So I am sending you guys a love and light. And I will see you on the next lunar phase or whatever time I get called to the table in between. So like and subscribe. This is pivotal time to get a reading from me, guys. I am channeling like a dog, man. And my schedule is filling up like daily. So make sure if you need help, if you're struggling, I want my job, my mission work is to get as many people across that bridge as I can in this miraculous influx of energy to support you, to make it easier than it's ever been in your life. And so we want to take advantage of this energy and get there as quick as we can. And so if you need help clearing old karma or family karma or ancestral patterning, or you need help figuring out what's holding you back, what is your energy block, reach out. That's my mission. Okay? And I'm ready and willing to serve. I want to get as many people to the other side as I can. Okay? Namaste.